Okay, so the next ornament on our list to make is one of our trees. And to make the trees, you're going to choose which design you want to make. I'm going to show you how to do two different designs. And you're going to start on a rectangle base piece. Now to create a tree, or to create this tree, we are going to use our green spiraled cane. And that green spiraled cane is the stick of glass, and it has that color of green wrapped around it. And we are going to get zigzags of green for our tree. And to start with, we are going to cut the bottom branch of this tree, and we want it just narrower than the width of our rectangle. So we hold the spiraled cane over the rectangle. We pinch right next to where we want to cut it, and we're going to use our glass cutters to cut the glass. And we pinch, and then that is the length that we want. Now, spiraled cane is going to roll away. This is where you're going to grab your glue, and the only time we're going to use our glue before the end of our project. And I want you to put a stripe of glue right down the middle of that rectangle base piece. And we take that spiraled cane and we set it there, and that glue is going to help tack it into place. Now we're going to cut a piece that's just shorter than that. So each piece of spiraled cane is going to get shorter as we go up our tree. And you're going to get 6, 7, 8 pieces of spiraled cane into your tree. Keep clipping using those glass cutters. Each one of these gets a little bit shorter. A couple more. And if you find that one ends up being a little bit longer than you want it to be, that one can slide into the piece. See, I don't want it bigger than the one below it. I can just push that one out of the way until I find the right place for it. And I'm going to do one more to get to the top of my tree. There we go. Now I'm going to put a yellow bead right up here at the top for my tree. And then for my tree trunk, I'm going to take that brown that I used for my reindeer head, clip off a little rectangle, and then I set that rectangle at the bottom. And now I have created one design of the tree that's an option for you. Now, if you don't want to make this tree, we do have the option of turning that rectangle sideways and creating our trees horizontal. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Now remember, that's one option for the trees. This is the second option for the tree. Now we're going to make these trees out of little triangles of green glass, and we are going to use the white spiraled cane as our snow. And we're going to use a piece of the white mosaic as the snow underneath the tree. So we're first going to create that piece of white, the snow mosaic. And to do that, we are going to cut a strip of white. I'm going to use my Sharpie to show you the line. I'm going to use our scoring tool to do this. Remember, when you use the scoring tool, elbow up to keep the wheel on the glass. Start on the edge of the glass that's closest to you, lean in, and then push from one edge of the glass to the other. To break the glass where we scratched it, we make sure that the gold bolt points up on the runner. You have that gold line on top of your scratch. Line that up on the scratch so the center of the tool points at the other end, and then we see glass sticking out both sides of that flat surface, and then we get to squeeze like we use scissors. And now we have a snowbank for our trees. Now, to create our little triangles of trees, we're first going to make a rectangle of green glass, and we want that rectangle to be shorter than the width of the base piece between the snow and that top edge. So I first create this rectangle, and to cut my rectangle, scoring tool again, elbow up to keep the wheel on the glass, start on the edge of the glass that's closest to me, and then I scratch edge to edge. Gold bolt up on the runner to break that off, squeeze and break the glass. Now on this rectangle that the width fits for my triangles, I'm going to draw the triangles to get my trees. And to cut out my triangles, I use my scoring tool, and I can make all of these scratches before breaking any of the glass. Remembering that our speed getting across the glass is more important than staying exactly on those black lines. To break off my triangles, put that gold line on my scratch, make sure I see glass on both sides of that flat surface, squeeze like I'm using scissors. Now I have a bunch of different triangles to choose from to create trees for my winter scene. Now some of these did not end up longer than I thought they might, so now I have trees to use for my winter scene. Now I want this tree to be in front. Now it does lean. If you don't want your tree to lean because that makes it difficult, take a smaller piece of green. You're gonna set that underneath that first and with that first layer, and then we set that other tree on top of that little piece of glass, and that helps hold it level so it's nice and even. Now we make sure everything stays inside the edge of the base piece, and right now it's okay to add a couple of drops of glue so that we can secure these pieces of mosaic down. Put your drop of glue where mosaic meets mosaic, or where the mosaic meets the base piece of your ornament. Now let's give our trees some snow. So I want a piece of some spiraled cane. I want a piece that goes all the way across. So I hold my spiraled cane and I measure. Set that down on top of that base piece of white and a couple of drops of glue there. And now I'm gonna do some little swirls of snow, and those come from pieces of the spiraled cane, and we're gonna clip off small pieces of the end. So into your bowl, I want you to hold the glass cutters over the bowl and turn the discs up away from the bowl. And that is when you clip the glass, you're going to clip little pieces into the bowl. Some of them are gonna bounce around, but you will end up with enough that you can use for snow. Now this is where you're gonna use your tweezers and a little bit of glue. Put a couple of drops of glue on a scrap of glass. Take your little pieces of spiraled cane, dip into the glue, and then stick them onto your trees. Now this makes little crescents of snow on your ornament. You can put them in the sky, you can put them on top of the tree, but we're doing dip into the glue and stick them onto the ornament. So now I have, that's just enough snow that I want for my trees. So this is the second design of trees that as an option for our ornaments. Remember, you are gonna pick one of those as your design for your ornament today.